Welcome to Screencleaner, the little popular magazine show casting a comic spin on media and politics. The last of the current series aired in the final days of the UK council elections. More than 5,000 candidates were up for the vote in England, Scotland and Wales, and I'll look at the week past and the results at time of recording. Presumably all politics nerds have observed the correct etiquette of watching. Don't stay up all night, constantly refreshing websites, enduring news anchors telling you, we're expecting the results, we're expecting the results, we're expecting the results, we're expecting the results. Checking your phone, any minute now, any minute now. And I bet if I wait another hour, one more hour to catch those results to come, and then the next results come in and tell you, come in the one that's happy and good. Only to wake up and discover your optimism slept with you and shit again has occurred. Instead, get a good night's sleep, clear your head. Good news can soften bad news. Both can wait in the knowledge there's bugger all you can do about it. It was Watergate all over again, with the Pulitzer Zach Polanski tried to mind boost some boobs 15 years ago. A story we're only hearing about for the first time this week. Pile on indignities. He wasn't even an accredited hypnotherapist. We'd placed all our faith in hypnotherapy solving the cost of living, and this is how he repays us? Calling out the murders in Golders Green, Polanski targeted anti-Semitism and appearances of anti-Semitism, making people feel unsafe.
Do you know what? The commentariat got it wrong. The elites got it wrong.
But these two things are completely different, opposed. He's saying anti-Semitism is a made-up.
Well, I think the conversation is rolling out right now. I definitely think there's unsafety for Jewish people, and I never said there wasn't. I said both were unacceptable.
Oh, so then why was he calling out the appearance of anti-Semitism? I mean, no Jew could feel unsafe, after all, if the aggressor didn't mean it. It was just a thing. Steve Reid, MP for Streatham and Croydon. Steve Reid, he's something of a golem. He likes to steal his votes by talking shite, accusing anyone in earshot of being an anti-Semite. Even Holocaust survivors just to get Corbyn and Polanski and to get Labour together illegal funding from big money. A mass gaslighter, gasoline hand scum, sits on Keith's shoulder like Salacious B. Crumb. He's an aggressive bigot who likes to muck with health. Into prison with Steve Reid to go fuck himself. Oh, well, Zach Polanski further enraged the media this week by having the gall to appear in an anti-Semitic cartoon. Illustrator Peter Brooks spent hours photographing him for this shot. What a dirty trick. Brooks has previously covered Captain Corbyn's illegal cruises story and the death row execution of the SNP. So he is a source to be trusted, surely. And not content with rubbing our not-hooked noses in it, the shocking revelations that in the past, Polanski freely gave a number of speaking hours to the British Red Cross. Black Zach falsely represented himself as a spokesman and No, that's the wrong graphic. Get that off screen. Get that off screen, you anti-Semite. It's only now that I feel safe in saying I once offered Polanski a couple of Maltesers. He took 3. Allegations abounded this week, revealed thick and fast. Zach Polanski once looked at my dog funny and then told a knock-knock joke with no punchline. Zach Polanski once drank the last bit of milk in my fridge and left the door open. He must be stopped. Horrifying breaking news. Polanski once picked his nose in public and twice farted in a public place. Also, one time he was a chorister and sang the wrong words. How horrid. It wasn't a good week for reform either. An outpouring of stories of local candidates engaged in crackpot ideas and outright hate speech. Labour piled on by publishing the Reform Revealed document of misdeeds. Unusually, the accusations weren't pulled from Steve Reid's arsehole of imagination. Instead, from actual journalists, mainstream and independent, doing their own investigations. And this brought the total Farage army official fingered to over 50. Clearly over 1% of candidates mired in sleaze. On Wednesday morning, The Independent published how 68 Reform councillors left the party in the last year. So the excruciating wait for results was solved some as the electorate tuned in to news of a Reform candidate sacking. When would the next one be? When would one be sacked, made to step down, resign from the party, being suspended, sacked, stepped down, resigning? The results came in fast, with 9 going down in the last 6 weeks. They don't count towards that 1%.
Please note that MPs receive a large volume of correspondence in the first weeks following an election, therefore your patience is appreciated. Please leave a message after the tone. When you have finished, please hang up or press the hash key for more options.
Round 1, fight!
Hello. Yes, I am calling Danny Kruger. I just noted that he had claimed £600 on accommodation, but this year it's risen to £2,980. And I just wanted to know why that was. Danny, did you forget to fully report last year? Oh, and on that, what was the £3,258 on miscellaneous? I mean, if you believe that men have an absolute right or not absolute right to body autonomy, it's not really important. But you should tell us how much you get from your wife renting the London property for £10,000 a year. And do you not think it's vulgar morality to accept flights and accommodation to visit Israel during a genocide? Anyway, thanks for talking, Danny. God be with you, Jesus be with you this Easter. I know you value your Christianity very much, but just have a little think about how Christian these things are.
It's estimated GBNews has accumulated losses of more than 100 million since its launch in 2021. A significant amount of that money was poured in by its owner, Paul Marshall. We know that money's gone into pleasuring and amplifying loudmouth fascists. GBNews have invested in contrarian European figures and the US market. Marshall also owns a Spectator and Unheard magazines. A behind-the-scenes operator pushing it down your throat twisted style. Lesser known is that Marshall is a key funder of Holy Trinity Brompton, 6 churches within Greater London. In a rather good piece for Prospect magazine, Andrew Greystone writes about how each of the churches have a large, full-time staff, outstripping the manpower of most Church of England sites. Holy Trinity Brompton are evangelicals, speaking in tongues, laying on hands.
I sense there might be someone here. It's like you've had a sort of headache, like a really bad stress headache right across here, and we'd love to pray for the Lord to take that away. Is anybody here? Does anyone...
Being able to telepathically sense pains in the head.
Does that relate to anyone?
There's probably a few of them there.
Oh, somebody's pointing somewhere. Oh, up there. Okay, hard for you to come down from there, I guess, isn't it?
And they've also got a belief that members are selected by God to govern. They target a young demographic with a mix of music and testimonials. Music is very important with their own top 30 CDs or in their bookshop. Straight out of Holy Trinity Brompton doesn't quite have the same ring to it. Holy Trinity has accurately been called an ecclesiastical adaptation to contemporary capitalism, with a focus on glitz, big screen, multimedia spunk fest for tech bros. Nice Sunday midday live stream you have there, HTB Church London. It would be a pity if a bunch of lefties jumped on it and warned you about the danger of telling people they were going to hell. Well, okay, I'm going on there. I'm in need of the spiritual replenishing. Every ounce of my being had the fibre sucked out of it reading through Reform Russia Council candidates. Praise be.
I mean, chasing a lion on a sunny day, well, that's a bit crazy. Chasing a lion on a snowy day. Then I killed a giant with his own weapon. No way! Me too, bro!
The congregation were only too happy to join me in my prayers for Paul Marshall's misbegotten soul. If you have seen it, please call. Featured celebrity members lure in the kids and include heavily hallucinating AI Jordan Peterson, Bear Grylls, star of The Truman Show, Danny Kruger, former advisor to David Cameron, nowadays a stooge for Reform PLC, and also Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby, who resigned over the church's support for one of Britain's most active child sex abusers. Incidentally, that abuser, John Smith QC, was a major inspiration on Holy Trinity Brompton, as was a network of public, read private, school system of old Etonians. And another alumni of Holy Trinity Brompton is James Orr. Orr is Reform Russia's policy director and was pivotal in persuading 3 Conservative MPs to jump the fence to defect. Orr and Marshall were key in bringing about the EU referendum and the Leave vote. They've since grown to sustain close relationships along with mutuals overseas with failed fanboy Peter Thiel, Epstein's sometimes personal assistant Steve Bannon, JD Bloodsports Vance, and the Big Orange rapist himself. I want to empathise close relationships. So much so that when Vance was offered a run on ticket as vice president, he spoke to Orr before agreeing. An informative article by Peter Jukes and Nafiz Ahmed in Byline Times explores the largesse of their power. The story of Dr. James Orr, the lawyer turned theologian, sits at the centre of a clandestine transatlantic nexus of faith, finance, think tanks, seminars and seminaries, media companies and conference events, and an apparently catastrophic view of politics. Behind the curtain, Holy Trinity Brompton hides MAGA UK. Meanwhile, front of stage, it is an industrious closed network of engagement for members. This includes marriage courses, parenting courses, children's education in the ARC King's Academy, the Alpha, the Alpha social media group, all run through an online infrastructure which includes Worship Central, Pete Greig's 24/7 prayer, the Bible in 1 Year app. There's even a dating element. Presumably it's straights only, as the church has recently been torn apart by a schism over treatment of LGBT members. Last year, same-sex couples were admitted for the first time, although it's currently forbidden to say prayers of blessing for them, and rumoured that they may not hold any staff positions. But the rabbit hole goes deeper. Marshall and HTB have also poured resources into the Church Revitalisation Fund. Revitalise, or CRT, is a down-market version of the former Holy Trinity Brompton, with a mass rollout of churches in every city and town in England and Wales. Or rather, that's the plan. Since 2017, somewhere between 102 and 187 new churches have been planted by Revitalise CRT in Britain. So far, these are mostly in urban centres, university towns, and upwardly mobile enclaves. However, their website states plans to target housing estates and low-income areas steadily over the next few years. Revitalised CRT have scooped up massive amounts in government funding. Marshall is a good pal of Aberdeen club and coke fiend Michael Gove. Millions from taxpayers have been shared around the tax-exempt Holy Trinity Brompton network. In a rather good piece for Prospect magazine, Andrew Greystone writes, "If you don't have a CRT church in your town or city, you probably soon will." Writing in the Byline Times, James Bloodsworth paints a picture of a built evangelical society, marriage partners, evangelical theology, authoritarian values, and indoctrination from cradle to grave. Marshall's project is not about mass revival, but elite realignment, he says. It's about harvesting every illusion applying this phrase, the holy nation of England, evangelical Anglicanism. This makes me think of GBNews and Reform's output, the holy nation of England, flags, righteous men doing God's will, the Crusades, and soldiers for empire. What a bunch of effing cults.
Hello.
Round.
Hello, good morning, Danny Kruger's office.
Hi, I'm Dennis Reynolds. I was just wanting to inquire how Christian it is to keep quiet on a fair, and maybe like doing coke in a nightclub in Aberdeen. I wonder.
Beg your pardon?
So yeah, I was wondering from Danny why he kept quiet about Michael Gove dancing off his head on coke in a nightclub in Aberdeen, and keeping quiet Boris Johnson's extramarital affair.
I have no idea.
Just
And I
nodding.
don't think that that's something that Danny would comment on. It's not. I'm afraid it's you know it doesn't. It's not Danny's business. So why would he comment on it?
Well, I hope he would, as an interested party who has certain values and ethics. Well, yeah, and that's where I hope Danny. Yeah. No, I appreciate that.
Excuse me if I terminate this call. Thank you.
Oh,
Bye-bye.
okay. Happy Easter. She seemed nice.
Within the first hour of results coming in, the overall picture was complete. The party of dodgy overseas money had more seats than anyone else combined. On the surface, every reform game came from a Labour loss, though the picture was clearer those had come from green gains, with reform taking a number of the Conservative losses. But one thing was clear, throughout the hours ahead in England, reform took a landslide. Do you remember all that etiquette I laid out at the start about watching results come through? I pretty much ignored it all and got embroiled in a Sky News live chat session with comment trolls, and more comment trolls. A number of hours pretty much down the drain. Depressing AF.
Hello. Old normal bloke here. Just to give a wee bit of advice. Never ever trust a fabricator. They make things up.
Let's try calling Nigel Farage in his constituency office. Hi, I'm hoping to reach Mr. Nigel Farage's Washington office. Could you give me the number to that? Is there...
What?
Yeah, is there an extension?
No, we've got no way of contacting Nigel Farage. The only thing I can suggest is either email him at Parliament or maybe try and contact Reform's head office.
Okay, I'll maybe call the pop. He might be down at the Polish Knob or the Cock and Pullet, or get on the Cameo. Thanks very much for your help today.
Okay.
Bye.
We are closed. Please call back during our office hours, Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. or you can leave a message after the tone.
Hi, this is for Nigel. I just wanted to give him a heads up, just many of the people together, that the others might catch on to him for circumventing the GDPR. You got to be careful, Nigel. On your Facebook page, you're asking people to contact you via private email, not parliamentary email, which is subject to GDPR. You're not supposed to do that. Also, I think you might be in breach of electoral law in that competition for one person to win free energy for a year. They might see it as a bribe, same way as they did free dinner in Gorton and Denton, which admittedly can't be considered one because you lost. Anyway, I might reach out to Nigel on Cameo as I want him to endorse killing of all non-Gentiles. It's just bants, innit? Ciao.
YouTubers log, Friday night, Saturday morning. Everything's still awful. Among Reform's wins were Big Brother housemate Alex Sibley, who secured Havering in London. I had to go and Google him, and legit, he was in the first big racist Big Brother. Jason Fazakerley lost his seat on Portsmouth City Council. In June 2025, he crossed to Reform from the Liberal Democrats. He joined the Lib Dems in 2009 from standing as an independent councillor. Before that, he'd also stood as a Green and a Labour. He crossed from Labour to join the Greens, to stand as an independent, to cross to the Lib Dems, to join Reform, and I don't know why he joined Reform. He didn't get elected. Not represented in the results are the news media, who to my mind are super voters. Those not monetarily in hock to Reform made a rod for their own back. I wonder how soon they'll regret it. Hypnoboob continued to come up again and again, yet interviewers didn't mention the Sun publishing page 3 topless shots daily between 1969 and 2013. Hashtag 44 years of Hypnoboob. The political correspondents, mainstream and independents, also focused inwards and rearview mirror. Why did Labour and Green do so bad? And didn't the xenophobes do so well so sadly? Point is, the discussions were made in political ideology language. There was barely a thought given on how Reform will run their councils, a group who have traditionally flagged in this area through lack of experience and being a bit shit. We can also note that Reform lost 2 councillors within 12 hours of them being elected. One was kicked out of the party for Holocaust denial, and another decided he didn't want to be part of it anymore. I can see a Brexit 2.0 effect. Councils run into feuding and bankruptcy, hospitals shut down, bins not collected for months. Where Reform won, communities will be destroyed. Increases in violent crime, rises in joblessness. The real issue is how to stop these things and mitigate their effects. Just like Brexit, a significant minority of near half of England did not want Reform, but they're in charge now. Maybe it'll hurt them long term, maybe it'll help them. In the short term, there's no telling how many could die from Reform mismanagement. We each weigh for ourselves whether this counts in the bloodied nose for Starmer Labour. The leader of the Labour Party in Birmingham, John Cotton, got his bum fed in through his mouth and out his bum again. Well done to my uni pal, gentleman and tech enthusiast Kevin Carmody on his win for the Greens in Harborne. A number of politicians called on Starmer to get out. Many Labour Party representatives, though most chose to sit in their crop pants. Throughout the night, Reform's vote share continued to climb. This drew most attention in the headlines. Labour's loss, second. Labour lost 1,395 seats in England, 4 in Scotland and 35 in Wales. They have control of 22 councils. The Conservatives lost 555 in England, 19 in Scotland, where I'm amazed they had any, and lost 22 in Wales. The Lib Dems surprisingly made gains, 151 in England, edging very close to becoming actual opposition, 6 in Scotland and 1 in Wales. What's more striking is the incremental Green vote. It rose far beyond those of Labour, Lib Dem and Tory. Scotland, thank fork for Scotland. The SNP, though suffering losses, held on. Among their 58 seats, they took the Shetlands for Holyrood for the first time. Stephen Flynn won a seat at Holyrood. He and Dundee East's Stephen Gethins will have to step down from Westminster, meaning 2 more by-elections. Selfish buggers. Muck O'Ford finished 3rd in Inverclyde, although he was still elected on the regional list. And Anna Sarbar lost his constituency run in Glasgow, Cathcart and Pollock.
Let him answer the question. Democracy is May the 7th.
When counting finished, Labour and Reform took 17 seats each. Greens 15, Tories 12, Lib Dems 10. By Saturday morning, with results complete, the SNP had almost 45% of the councillors. The Welsh Senate has a new proportional voting system, resulting in long-term Labour being pulled from their 100 years on the steering wheel, thrown out of the moving vehicle, hitting the road, bumping 8 times, and breaking several limbs with bloodied skin. Optimism! Plaid Cymru took control of the Senate, 43 seats, though Reform had a sizable minority, 34. Other parties didn't do so well. The Labour First Minister lost their seat. Charity fundraiser Captain Beanie was an independent candidate running for the Senate, and not for the first time. In 2024, he'd announced he wouldn't stand for any more elections. Presumably, he was on a postmodern snide mocking of the state of our political system. He took 504 votes. London's mayoral elections were almost evenly split, 6 posts, 1 going to each of the main contenders, but the Greens took 2. Lewisham was the tightest fought race. Last week there were projections that the Green candidate and winner, Liam Srivastava, would take 4th place. Well done, Liam. A moratorium or in memoriam question time special featured the Tube of Gotham City and the Just Us Not Them League. Changing his mind or outright lying about Green Party policy, claiming to end the boat tells with no irony.
There are migrants here who are coming to this country who want to pay into the country. They want jobs and they're unable to. You also have other migrants like my partner who pays her taxes, pays her national insurance, even pays to use the NHS. And yet you have people like you who, as Housing Secretary, oversaw £1 billion dodgy deal. You've got Nadeem Zahawi dodging taxes, Richard Tice dodging taxes. How long is this going to go on for before people realise it is grifters like you and your colleagues who are the problem?
Whoa, that is a whole load of allegations there. A whole load of allegations. Let me get this right. So Nadeem Zahawi admitted he made a mistake about his taxes.
Britain's least funniest woman, Fiona Bruce, the dumb bird, was running to defend anyone on the right. Opposition candidate Morgan Peer running against her to be new host of Question Time, so far as calling out his love for celebrity traders, which a Question Time producer is working on. Peer was even managing to be right over the low bar until wheeling out random trans people hate from his arse. Race to arse was Morgan Peer's trajectory, prompting one commentator to call him the honourable member for tapping people's phones.
Can I offer you a nice egg in this trying time?
Anyway, let's take a lighter tone by checking out some bygone television of good. 36 years ago, the fledgling Fox network aired the last in a series of popular buddy cop show, with differences. Detective Sykes and Francisco took on formulaic cases of the week, with the usual roster of murder, arson, people trafficking, and robbery. The employment of a science fiction underlay galvanized it, giving the series its unique hook. Sci-fi's integrity comes from its use to explore social issues. Alien Nation, a spin-off of the 1988 film by Gail Ann Hurd, followed the premise that 250,000 extraterrestrials landed in the Californian desert 5 years previously. Essentially, mass immigration and the consequences of that, bad and good. The Tinctonese arrive as slaves, so conditioned as subservient, colouring their integration. They're bred as workers, extremely bright and strong. Nigel Farage's worst nightmare. The themes of immigration, ethnicity and slavery are not subtly coded, rather quite overt. The less financially able aliens form ghettos, like the racially branded Slag Town. Those who can meet the cost of living, writer Dayton Ward says, just want to live, pay their bills, watch crappy TV, while the show examines issues of racism, immigration, civil rights, equality, workers' rights, and social justice. In this clip, purist humans protest to school with newcomer inclusion, and hothead detective Matthew Sykes has his own way of dealing with this.
Why stop with running him back to Slagtown? Why don't we just kill him? Teach them a lesson. Keep them in their place. Keep America pure. Yeah! We don't even need to paint little stars on them to recognize them, do we? Hell, they'll be easy to round up. Look at them. They stand out even better than the Japs that we threw into concentration camps back in 1942. This will be a piece of cake. And enough of us get together, it'll almost seem legal, won't it? Put little white pointy sheets on our heads and hang us a few slags, huh? Well, let's start with this little one right here. Just because she's an American citizen, that doesn't make her a human being, does it? So what if she's a little brighter than some of our kids? We can beat that out of her. Discourage her enough, she'll give up. So what if she might have come up with a cure for cancer someday? She's not civilized like us. So why don't we just put a gun to her head and end it all right here, huh?
Will somebody stop you?
Come on. Come on, pull the trigger. Come on, take it! Come on! How about you, Ms. Pierce? I know you want to come pull the trigger. Get on over here. Come on down. What, I have to do it myself?
Oh.
Okay.
Episodes close in on Matthew Sykes, played by the late Gary Graham, as a skylemonger, and he begins as something of a bigot. And his partner, San Francisco. The immigration department processed many newcomers with amusing names. Sam, who prefers George, is played by Eric Pierpoint, who dials up the character's likeable qualities, a considerate Boy Scout who wants to think the best of people, much to Sykes' annoyance. The Francisco family provide a proper look into the newcomers' attitudes, culture, and behaviour. There's about 10 supporting characters appearing regularly, with identities spread out across the patchwork quilt of the story. We're given a truly sociological narrative, a feel of a city considered and whole. Over the 22 episodes, Matt Sykes' education develops and his attitude changes. George's son, Buck, works through his bigotries with crime and as many slurs for humanity as they have for him. There's difficult, Tincton, traditionalist Uncle Moodry, and Albert, Einstein, the lowly janitor who doesn't dare to dream of social advancement. The network show was cosy by today's standards. Propaganda is its thing, but the examination of the dark side of human personal politics just about ticks all boxes in the contents page of a sociology textbook.
I've always wanted to have a UV room. We could do that now.
Vespa's so energetic, I'd love to buy her naughty ash wheel she could climb in her nursery. I saw a lovely one at Bullock's.
Go ahead, buy it.
What did you guys decide?
The best thing for our future. And how is our little Vesna?
You invested, didn't you?
A little.
Dix a kick don't vote. They're taking advantage of unskilled Tectonese workers who have to put in double shifts at minimum wage with no overtime pay.
Buck, you don't know that.
No, Marilyn says the new knit workers have no health care, no benefits.
Marilyn? Who's Marilyn?
My American history teacher. See, we're studying the labor movement.
You call your teacher by the first name?
Marilyn's not into any kind of power trip. Marilyn says New Knit is exploiting its Tectonese workers.
Well, if she is so smart, why don't you ask this Marilyn where these exploited workers would be without New Knit? No, I will tell you where. Unemployed, that's where.
Naak gintub vesna ut bi.
What are they teaching kids in school these days?
Nemo, calm down.
The show is a spin-off of a movie, lesser but still watchable. The film was written by Rockne S. O'Bannon, later creator of the unchallenged anthropological series Farscape, and there was an uncredited rewrite by James Cameron. The Alien Nation TV series' social agenda was laid down by showrunner Kenneth Johnson, the man responsible for The Incredible Hulk and $6 Million Man. And this has got to be like Johnson's greatest work, easily. So different from those former well-known pieces. In instructing his writers' room, Johnson followed O'Bannon in exploring human culture and psychology through an action comedy drive. Alien Nation made great use of design and a memorable soundtrack by composers Joe Harnell, Steve Dorff and Larry Herbstritt. It was among Fox Television's first generation of original programming and really quite popular. But as a quick Fox jumps lazy, it was cancelled. The inevitable fandom lobby responded. It was recommissioned, then cancelled. However, the Series 1 cliffhanger was resolved in Dark Horizon, a TV movie retaining the original cast and crew and style of narrative. And an additional 5 telemovies were broadcast the same year. And they are fairly well satisfying for an audience already hooked. All 28 episodes are on DVD and on streaming, so check those out so as not to annoy Matthew.
Just to let you know, last week I actually discovered the colours in my carpets. If I knew these things did that, hoovery things, I'd have got one years ago. But anyway, now I know what Howard Carter felt like. Cheers, folks.
I was going to record a Saturday update or crawl under the old desk in end credits, but owing to physical injury and immense forking pain, I'll leave it there. That's the last of Screencleaner for now. Thank you to everyone who's supported me, guests, the people who've said nice things to me in comments and in person. It's also the 9th anniversary of me having a Patreon, where for £1 a month you can get lots of things. This month, exclusive Discworld and Press Gang material. Thank you to my patrons whose names will be on screen now-ish. I do a Saturday evening live stream with Katie Marshall, where there's lots of fantastic chatter and unusual subjects. And on Sundays, I review British and Irish independent comic books. So please do subscribe and remember to like and comment. From me and my 12 gerbils, I hope we'll be back later in the year. We'll see. Thanks and bye for now.